Hey, welcome on in to a Christmas edition of Lunch with Claibs and Joe. We are live from Mungenast Alton Toyota here in Alton, Illinois. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Mike Claiborne. Claibs, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Happy holidays to you and all of our viewers and listeners out there. Yeah, it's that time of the season. Are you a big holiday guy?
I am. We're kind of pushing our stuff back. We're not doing anything till the first week of January. We're going up to the Wisconsin Dells for a little get together up there. So this weekend, just taking it easy and looking at the weather. Yeah, looking at the weather. That's probably the right play to do this year.
Yeah, But here's the thing: you can't trust these weather people. You can't trust them. It's going to be cold. But this whole snow thing, I'm not buying because it's too cold to snow.
Mm-hmm.
When it's 0 degrees, you don't hear about snow when it's 0 degrees outside. So we'll be all right.
Who's your favorite weather? You don't have a favorite meteorologist in the St. Louis area? No,
none of them.
I know you were. He's not a meteorologist. I saw you were with Art Holiday over the weekend.
All right, that's a whole.
I was gonna say, I'm not a meteorologist. I know he's on the news. Yeah,
and I know they all try, but I just don't.
What were you doing with it? You were black tie, tucked up.
This thing, Deluxe Magazine at Power 100.
Mm-hmm.
Art was honored. I was just invited. I'm not 100. So,
okay.
But it was cool. It had 800 people there.
Yeah.
It was a really nice event. Art was recognized, and a few other friends I know were recognized. So I wanted to be there for them.
Nice.
I did look good that night. I was rocking some Jordan 11s.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. That's why when I wear a formal attire, I always wear the Jordan 11, the black patent leather.
Yeah.
They're more comfortable than the rented shoes that you get from a tuxedo rental place.
Yeah. Not a whole lot on the agenda this week. When you look at baseball kind of slowing down, I mean, we do have a lot of football to get to, but before we get to any of that, just wrapping up the World Cup that we saw, Qatar, they're done. Hopefully we never have to worry about them hosting any kind of major event ever again. Right. But we saw quite a classic match on Sunday morning. Did you wake up? Did you watch? Were you watching that on Sunday?
So I watched most of it. I recorded it because Demetrius Johnson and by the way, get well, man. We're counting on you. He has this annual toy drive. And they host dinners for kids down at Union Station. DJ's under the weather a little bit. Had some surgery. So a few of us, I just wanted to show up. I knew they were going to at least be one short because DJ wasn't going to be there. And it was amazing how many other guys that DJ knows all came out to help. We almost had too many people helping. So I was there, but I got back home in time to, believe it or not, I actually recorded this thing.
Yeah.
And we saw 6 goals in one day. We didn't see 6 goals all last week.
No.
So it was entertaining, but here's what I would say. These are the best players in the world, okay, by far. And people say, man, how come they don't have more games? Well, the best players don't play everywhere.
Right.
I mean, so it was great. It was great for the game. But again, I'm going to fix this sport because it needs some help. Penalty kicks. That's a terrible way to lose a World Cup. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go extra time, but we're going to be able to have more substitutions to keep fresher players on the field.
What about re-entry? What about re-entry for that?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think, what do you have, 26 players on the team? Anyway, I think it's 26. So here's what we do. And you don't use them all. You have guys that haven't even hit the field.
You could have told me, 26 seems really high.
Well, you got 11 at a time out there.
Yeah, and then they only sub in. They only get 5 subs a game? So that's 16 guys. So there's 10 guys that are just hanging out there that aren't going to play?
Point being that you can have more substitutions, fresher players, and I guarantee you'll get it over with. Now, Fox was glad it was over with the way it ended because they had this thing called the NFL. It was coming up later, and they did not want to run into that and then tell everybody to go to FS1 or something.
It was pretty good time. I mean, they had good timing. They had the timing down. Soccer is, from what I have, one thing I have learned that I probably should have learned from past, World Cups or whatever,
gym
is
class,
I don't know about that, but I'm just talking about, they have the timing down for it. I mean, a baseball game, you don't know when the hell that thing's going to end. Football games, I mean, those can drag on too with high scoring, a lot of clock stoppages. I mean, soccer, boom, it's done. I mean, 90 minutes plus another 8, boom, you're done. You're out of there.
NBA, it doesn't run too long. The NFL is getting a little
NBA
silly.
can. NBA, I mean, you get down to the
3 minutes with the time, but they've even tried to expedite that now, where they're like, no, it's a foul, we take the ball out.
Yeah.
But in this situation, I thought it was great. I was talking to Bill McDermott yesterday about the fact that the U.S. team should be they expanded to 48 teams.
Yeah.
U.S. team could actually be fighting for a spot as a Final Four because they're young. They're as athletic as we've ever seen. They've had a little taste of what it takes. Their players are going to have more international experience. I would be highly disappointed if the U.S. was not one of the Final Four teams.
Well, most importantly, too, they're hosting it. I mean, it's going to be here. It's going to be, it's being split between Canada, Mexico, and the U.S., but the major events of it and the majority of the stadiums are going to be here in the U.S. So there is a strong emphasis on performing well.
I think they'll do well. I think they're going to compete. So I'm looking forward to it. So now we have to talk about soccer.
No, I will say I will
talk about the St. Louis City coming up.
Yeah, whenever that schedule comes out, I will say, but my son who doesn't care about soccer at all, you could ask him, the only player he would know would be Messi because of what he watched, but he wanted to watch it because he knew it was a world championship game. After they went down 2-0, he went to play video games. I went to the garage and got on the bike for a bit, then come back and see everything happen in there. And it was, it was a fun way to start the Sunday morning. But I guess now the next soccer news we get is whenever whenever their schedule comes out and we find out that, which, I mean, they start playing games here in about 3 months. So
here's something, and I don't know how this is going to shake out. When they announce who's going to be doing what, the broadcast schedule and all of that locally, if Bill McDermott's not part of this thing, St. Louis City, he already has a credibility issue. Yeah. Just saying. And I'm sure there's ways they can get him on there, so I'm not going to worry about it. But just talking to him yesterday just excites me when it comes to soccer.
So, moving on from that, you said it went right into the NFL weekend, right into the games on Sunday, but we did have some games on Saturday. The way that Argentina almost blew that lead, you would have thought Matt Ryan was on the field for them. After what we saw.
Was that a disaster or what, man? So here's a question. How does Jeff Saturday come back next year?
He does. No, that's gone. There's no chance of that. They'll go get a coach. They tried something. It didn't work. I think Jeff Saturday probably misses being in the media and getting to sit behind.
But you're only as good as your staff, too. Think about that.
Right.
But even in that situation, you couldn't stop the bleeding, and it was hard to watch.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, that's not an option anymore. Okay. They'll go find somebody. I still think they throw a lot of money at Jim Harbaugh. I think they try to get him away from Michigan.
I think Harbaugh stays.
He might end up staying. He might end up turning it into some big money.
He's already
for them.
Big money.
Yeah, more money. Yeah. But I think the Colts will go after him.
Michigan can spend with anybody. Michigan, they can spend as much money as the Colts. And if you look around, there's a whole lot of $5 million college football coaches out here.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it's.
Now I'm not. I don't think Michigan is worried about losing Harbaugh the money.
Yeah, so that's what I think they are going to try to do. I think that's what they're going to try. But again, he still has maybe 2 games left this year that he needs to worry about winning, and that'll up the price for it. But okay, so the NFL, you had what on Saturday? Pretty good games on Saturday.
With the exception of the Cleveland game.
I mean, that was a game that you had to have eyes on though for playoff implications, and the Ravens,
right? You know what? By the way, I enjoy the Ravens. They are a dull team to watch. There's no zest about them, even when Lamar's on the field.
When Lamar's on the field, you can sit there and you can watch him maybe do something special, but he has no weapons.
None.
I mean, this is one of those years. I don't think I could name any of his weapons that he has out there.
Isn't that good? It isn't as good as it used to be. and everybody now knows that they're living off reputation.
Yeah.
And nobody buys into the reputation.
It's almost as if they kind of looked at this year. They saw what the Bengals did and knew the Bengals were going to be or should have been top, of their division, knowing the Steelers were going to take a step back, knowing the Browns were going to be the Browns all year, and just kind of thought, okay, maybe we don't need to throw a whole lot of money out and around places. Maybe we don't need to make these moves, and we can just get by with Lamar Jackson playing QB for us.
I've seen teams do that in divisions.
Yeah.
They look behind them and say, we don't have to do anything.
That's the way the Cardinals are going to look at the
that's
Central.
the team you're talking about. And you know what? They won't have to do much more this year. But the thing is, I think that they know that just winning the division is you got to do more now.
Right. So this past weekend, so you had the major comeback on Saturday. Vikings end up beating the Colts. You had the NFC West game on Thursday. You look at some of the game on Thursday. The 49ers clinched the NFC West with with Brock Purdy as their quarterback.
That's going to be fun to watch them in the playoffs because
who's going to quarterback for them in the playoffs?
Hey, Purdy's probably going to keep it because we don't even know if Garoppolo will be effective. I mean,
Garoppolo, I don't think can come back, but I think it's an issue of what do you do with Trey Lance?
Well, he's coming back from an injury too.
Right.
So I just think you play the guy who's healthy. So there's enough weapons around him. There have been guys like him, and I look at a guy like Brad Johnson when he was with Tampa. They won a Super Bowl. There's guys who won Super Bowls who were not dynamic quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying San Francisco can win it, but they can certainly find themselves in league championship games.
Yeah.
By the way, does everybody know where we're at today with the Mungenast Alton Toyota, where they have a number of wonderful vehicles over here that you might be interested in checking out, used and new. And when you think about the holiday season, maybe it's not a bad idea to think about it and maybe get the year started off on the right foot. They've got some great financing plans as well. They're getting more cars on the lot, and they have more selection than a lot of people around town. But more importantly, they can do deals that you won't be able to find in a lot of other dealerships. So if you're in the market, think about coming by here and check them out, or go online and see what they have, because they have a variety of things. But I'm a touchy-feely kind of guy.
I know you're going to be driving one of the Mungenast Toyota cars, Mungenast Burkhardt, by the way, Toyota. You're going to be driving one of those down to Jupiter here in about a month. Has Jamie told you what kind you're taking down there yet?
Whatever they pick is fine with me.
I didn't know if he had already pointed it out to you or let you know
something
which.
That allows me to travel, luggage, golf clubs, all that sort of stuff, because I'll be there for a while.
And then I'll come down to end of spring training, World Baseball Classic, and I'll bring that back as you travel with the team. World Baseball Classic, by the way, you got a lot of Cardinals that are going to be involved in that. 4 on the U.S. team, 4 on the U.S. That we know: Michaelis, Wainwright, Arenado, and Goldschmidt, and then you got Tommy Edman, Korea, and Lars Nootbaar possibly playing for Japan. But back to the NFL here quickly with some of the other stuff from this weekend. First of all, last week on the show, we were talking, and I threw it on there. I put the Cowboys-Jaguars game on there, and I said I was going to put it on there because I wanted to see if anybody was going to bite on the Jags. Nobody did, and the Jaguars ended up winning that game in overtime.
Here's something that I got a problem with the NFL. When there's a ball that's deflected, I don't think the quarterback should get tagged for the interception.
Not even a deflection. That wasn't even, wasn't even a deflection. That was just straight up the wide receiver didn't catch a ball that should have been a first down.
Yeah. But my point being, if it hits him in the hands and he doesn't catch it, that should be a minus to him. Not the quarterback. And I don't know how you would put that out.
Fumble, something. Yeah. It's come up with a giveaway. Yeah. Drop ball interception, maybe. No, something along those lines. Something because it's still intercepted, but you're not putting it on the quarterback for that.
It's not his fault he hit him in the hands.
Yeah, and penalized.
He hit him in the hands. He didn't catch. Which, by the way, I don't know if you saw the Jackson State North Carolina Central game. It was Deion's last game. 3rd and goal from the 2. They float a tight end out in the flat. There's nobody within 30 yards of him. Hits him right here, and he drops it. they don't advance on fourth down, that's how they lose the game.
Mm-hmm. So in the so that game, I mean, Cowboys clinch a playoff spot, so they're in. But what's interesting now, Lions win again. They beat the Jets. Jaguars win. They're with the Titans losing. They've worked their way back in, and the Buccaneers deciding to just not run away with the NFC South has kind of allowed the Panthers to slowly creep in to the mix here. So, I mean, you have Baltimore at 9-5, Chargers and Dolphins at 8-6. Then those are the teams that are in, and then you have the Patriots and Jets at 7-7, Jacksonville at 6-8. Also, you have the Raiders at 6-8, who have a win over the Patriots now.
So basically, what you're saying, a bad team's going back in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, would you say that?
I'll also say this. Those teams you just mentioned are already in playoff mode.
They have to win. I mean, they have to win every single game.
And this is where coaching staffs come into play. Teams that have coaches who have been in this situation or have been with winning programs, they're the ones that are going to be able to give them that one little nudge to these young players who haven't been there before. And any guy who's a leader or veteran on your team, that's when you really lean on the guy at this point.
And that's where a team like the Lions, that's this weekend. You got Lions and Panthers. You talk about that's a play-in game. I mean, that pretty much is a play-in game to see who has a shot at getting that 7th seed. And I didn't think at this point in the season I'd be having Lions and Panthers on our picks. But
where are they playing it at?
They're in Carolina for that one. But I mean, the Panthers are 5-9. Panthers are 5-9 though, and they're playing for the division.
Yeah, I know guys on both staffs. I don't know who I'm rooting for because they're the Panthers head coach coached in Mizzou, and I knew him when he was out in Arizona. And Brad Holmes, who interned with the Rams and worked in the PR department with the Rams, who runs the Lions organization.
So right now, Eagles 13-1. They have best record in the NFL by 2 games.
Somebody told me about the Eagles earlier this year. It was me.
Yeah. Okay. But Jalen Hurts not going to play this. Yeah. Do you think? I mean, if this was a game that mattered, do you think he would play?
Yeah. But I don't think who's their backup? He's a pretty
Garner Minshew.
Yeah. That's the guy who used to be with Pittsburgh.
No, he was with the Jacksonville.
Right.
Yeah.
He had the mustache.
Uncle Rico. Yeah.
It's all right. You know what? Their offense is capable because they have a lot of different options. So just don't lose it. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Hey, we are out at Mungenast Alton Toyota, 850 Home Radins Parkway in Alton, Illinois. Come on by and check them out.
Texas. We're going to be here for a little bit because I got a few other things. By the way, did you notice that Phoenix Suns, that deal, I mean, we haven't talked about it.
Yeah.
What did I tell you? It's going to be somewhere around $4 billion.
I didn't. I just saw it come across as we started here that the deal that's being finalized. But yeah, we will. We'll get to that. We'll get to that at the end of the show. When we come back, though, we got to talk a little Blues because they're back on a hot streak now. It's been up and down all season long. Hey, this is Lunch with Claibs and Joe here on Claibs Online.
Honey, what are you doing up?
I'm too excited to sleep.
Have you tried counting sheep?
Yeah, but it didn't work.
Have you tried counting Albert Pujols home runs?
But there's so many.
Let's just give it a try, okay?
Okay.
Good night.
1 Albert Pujols home run. 2 Albert Pujols home runs. 3 Albert Pujols home runs. 4 Albert Pujols home runs.
There's always been a bright side to living in downstate Illinois. Ameren, Illinois is making it even brighter with a little help from the sun. Right now, we're building a next-generation solar facility to bring you cleaner energy for generations to come. It's good for the environment, your neighborhood, and everyone living in downstate Illinois. That's brighter thinking. That's energy at work. Learn how you can participate in solar programs at amerenillinois.com/renewables.
Back here, Lunch with Claibs and Joe. We are out at Mungenast Burkett Alton Toyota here in Alton, Illinois. 850 Home Radins Parkway is where you can find us. Today, And well, if you're watching now or listening later, hey, make a plan to come on out here sometime this week, or next week if you're off work then too for the holidays, and check out what they have here on the lot, new and used cars. And those used cars, all different makes and models out here at Mungenast Alton Toyota here in Alton, Illinois. Mike Claiborne, Joe Roderick here with you right now. Might not have stayed up late to watch the Blues last night. They were in Vancouver, 5-1 victory last night. Now their fourth win in a row, 3 points out of a playoff spot right now.
Yeah, and here's what's going on with the Blues. They're obviously playing better, but they're playing better. They're playing teams that were the St. Louis Blues about 2 weeks ago. Teams that's trying to find themselves, and the Blues are taking advantage of it. And here's what I like about it, though, Joe. They're winning in a resounding manner.
Yeah.
Okay. They're not squeaking one out and getting outplayed and then finding a goal late in the game. They're going in and they're breaking up some furniture against teams that, as I said, these teams that they're winning against were the Blues of about 2 weeks ago, where they didn't know what they were doing. So you got to take advantage of them, especially going through the holiday season. Now, with the moratorium in place, these teams are who they are until after the holidays because they can't make any trades. And I can promise you this, once the moratorium is over with, you're going to see a lot of players moving. There's a lot of teams that are looking, and a lot of teams have given up on certain players, and they're looking to move some people. Throw in the fact that teams that are having guys on expiring contracts are going to look to move them. I don't think you'll see them wait till the deadline like we normally do, because there's so many teams that still think that they're in it. Mm-hmm. And with that said, they're going to try and go for it now compared to trying to wait and where the price might go up.
Yeah, they're in the middle right now. I mean, that's the Western Canada, I guess, West Coast swing now when you add Seattle and Vegas into the mix, but they come back home right after Christmas, but then it's right back off to the East Coast.
Yeah.
After that, I mean, they've been going.
It
really has been for them.
And they got a great home schedule coming up. But they have the Hawks, they've got the Toronto Maple Leafs coming in.
And then Wild, yeah,
and the Minnesota Wild. Those are all three good hockey clubs. The Hawks, they're the Hawks. But anyway, there used to be a time when you play the Blackhawks and all hell would break loose because those two teams are more evenly matched. Now the Hawks are going through a rebuild, but they're not a bad hockey team. That's one of the things I want to point out. They're not a bad team. You better pay attention to them. The Maple Leafs have the longest drought of any team in pro sports now as far as winning a championship. So, but they always have talented players. They just can't push it down the hill enough. In the Minnesota Wild, with now Ryan Reeves skating around up there, they're a little tougher. They're a little bit harder to play against. So, those are going to be three good teams. But the Blues still have some work at hand on the road with Seattle tonight, and then they have Vegas later in the week.
By the way, did you see the hit that Reeves laid out last week? No, not that. Listen.
I don't care what level, what age you are. You're always taught to make sure you keep your head up, especially in the middle of the ice. I mean, he used his shoulder. I don't get why people feel like, this hit needs to be hey, it's hockey. Mm-hmm. That's what you got equipment on for. It would have been different if he had a run and start and try and plow a guy down. But no, he didn't. He just
when you look, you talk about the fact that right now, until the holidays are over, no trades are going to happen. When you look at the Blues, it's just back and forth, win streak, lose streak. It's just back and forth that we're seeing. Is there still a set thing a set need that they have that they need to?
Yeah, they have certain guys that are playing too much and they're going to get exposed. You need a legitimate defenseman. A top four guy. I haven't heard Chikrin's name mentioned a great deal. That might be a guy I might want to go back and kick the tires on. You need a little bit more size on the blue line. You need a guy who can skate with it a little bit better and certainly know what he's doing in his own end.
Yeah, after so the Blues play it tonight against Seattle and then Friday against Vegas, and then all of the NHL shuts it down from all weekend long. They're going to let all the other sports have the spotlight for around Christmas.
And believe me, between the NFL and the NBA, you won't get your fill of both of those leagues.
Yeah,
and which is good. I mean, there was a time when you couldn't find it. I remember when the NBA would have one game, it was always in Phoenix. That was the only game they would have. And then they've expanded it. And now it's kind of like they have one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. And they get good numbers for those games, and the NFL is doing the same thing.
So so there are NBA games the next couple days, but this is our last show before Christmas. Christmas is the NBA's day.
Mm-hmm.
They do have to share it with the NFL this year. The NFL does have a few games on Sunday, but a pretty loaded schedule on Saturday. Here is your NBA Christmas Day schedule this year. Starts off with 76ers and Knicks.
Yeah.
Those two teams are over 500.
Yeah, but you know.
Knicks have the longest win streak right now in the NBA.
Yeah.
You want to talk Lakers Mavericks is the next game on that.
Well, Charles Barkley has 2 words in describing the Lakers. They stink.
Mm-hmm.
And he's right.
Yeah.
And how about Patrick Beverly, one out of LA, wants to go back to Minnesota? Go. I didn't want you anyway.
But you get LeBron versus Luka in that game.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So that you get the stars in that game.
I was with a Maverick executive the other night, and she was telling me that game is oversold out because of the matchup. And let's face it, you're not going to see LeBron very many more times after this year.
No. Bucks and Celtics.
That'll be a good one.
That'll be that's your marquee matchup. Grizzlies Warriors. John Morant against the Warriors, and the Warriors are at home too, so the Warriors have a chance at winning.
There's been some chirping. Remember, Morant kind of did some chirping last year, and I know there's a people with Golden State that remembered that. And Josh done a lot more chirping. He got tossed from the game the other night, questioning the referee's integrity. Can't do it, man. I'm sorry.
Okay, him getting kicked out the other day, that was bad on the ref's part. He was sitting there chirping with a fan in the crowd. Yeah. And the referee had some thin skin.
When your hearing is better than your vision, you probably aren't focusing on what you're out on the floor for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the NBA referees they've been reprimanded more this year with some things that they've done. Like Tony Brothers called the one guy. You heard about that, right?
Yeah. But the Warriors are at home, so the Warriors might win that game. So. And then Suns and Nuggets.
That'll be fun. Yeah, I mean,
they got all the stars on it. They have loaded up. Yes,
it's got some star power.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to it. What NFL games do we have on?
On Sunday, the NFL is. Let's see. On the 25th, you have Packers Dolphins at noon. Yeah. Broncos Rams at 3:30. So the NFL just said, you know what? Hey, we're not going to go up against we're not going to go against the NBA.
Did you see the story about where they're selling tickets for the Bronco game for $12?
That much?
Yeah.
There was a time here in St. Louis where you put tickets on the windshield and more would appear.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
There is a guy on TikTok. You familiar with TikTok?
Yeah, I've heard.
Okay, there is a guy who at the beginning of the year thought it would be funny to compare how many touchdowns Russell Wilson had thrown during the year to how many bathrooms he and Sierra had at their mansion. At the house they bought, thinking at some point this year, touchdowns would pass bathrooms.
Doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Right now, bathrooms has a very secure lead. I think it's 12 bathrooms that he and Sierra have in their house. And Russell Wilson now being hurt has not.
And boy, that blow he took, man. I don't know if I'd play anymore this year.
No,
did you see that?
He had no clue where he was. And then also the night game too. This again, Buccaneers Cardinals,
which at one point would have been a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised NBC didn't flex a game somewhere.
That I think they couldn't this week because I saw that the other last night. I saw them preview that and I thought, why wouldn't you flex that out? Not realizing that it's Christmas, so they couldn't have flexed. I think this was set and they couldn't flex anything.
And at the beginning of the year when they made the schedule up, that would have been an attractive game.
You have Brady. NBC wanted a Brady
Kyler
game.
Murray.
You would have figured that the Cardinals. Every year the Cardinals are going to be that team. Oh, they're going to be the team to take the next step. They're going to be the team to take the next step, and that never happened.
Do you blow it up?
You send Cliff Kingsbury back to college, and
you had your general manager sick.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That thing doesn't look good to me at all.
Yeah. So that's what you have. And then I don't know what bowl games you have. Are there bowl games on Christmas?
I'm sure somebody's playing something.
No bowl games on Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah. You got the ones coming up this you have one on Christmas Eve. That's Middle Tennessee State versus South Dakota or San Diego State University.
I guess MTSU?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the
By
Hawaii
the way,
Bowl.
Missouri is playing Wake Forest.
On the 23rd, the
this
Gasparilla
Friday.
Bowl.
Never heard of it. I've heard of Wake Forest.
Yeah.
I think Missouri, they better be careful here because there's a lot of people watching how Eli Drinkwitz coaches this game. That honeymoon.
What do you mean in a bowl game? What do you mean they're watching how he coaches it?
Well, just as I think that there've been some questionable coaching moves on his part this year, and now he's taking over play calling again.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I keep seeing his staff, there's such a turnover in staff with him. This guy took a pay cut to go coach at Boise State to be the OC there.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's had as good of a year coaching as maybe we had hoped for. And I think when you have a 6-6 record, that kind of indicates that things aren't all well because they haven't had any debilitating injuries to key personnel. A couple of offensive linemen have been up and down. But, my question is this. If Sam Horn's the 7th best player in the country or quarterback, why didn't he get on the field? If Tyler Macon was the best high school quarterback out of East St. Louis, why didn't he get on the field? I don't care about Brady Cook. Brady Cook wasn't that good where those guys didn't deserve a series or two during the course of the game. So my point being this, either you're misreading talent or you're not coaching them up.
Right.
Take your pick. But one of these two is going on. What happens if Tyler Macon goes to UNLV and plays for Barry
Odom? I was just about to bring that up. I was just about
what
to
if
bring
he goes
up
out there and turns that thing around.
Well, you have Barry Odom there, defensive-minded coach.
Yeah. He went out and hired Petrino.
I was going to say, what are your thoughts on him bringing? Bobby Petrino couldn't behave when he was in Arkansas. What's he going to do in Vegas?
He couldn't behave anywhere he's ever been.
Right.
Wait till they start talking about him after he left Missouri State.
Right.
I'm sure there's going to be some story about somebody who had crossed swords with him.
And Las Vegas thinks it's a good idea to bring him in there?
They kind of win. I'm sure there's a morals clause in his contract. What else do we have?
That's we need to take one more break, and when we come back, we're just going to wrap it up. A little baseball talk, and then some Masters news here in December, right here on Lunch with Claibs and Joe here on ClaibsOnline.com.
As one of St. Louis's fastest growing companies and largest private companies, St. Louis Acura is proud to serve you and remains committed to becoming better than ever for you. As new Acuras become more available every day, we are not backing down from selling 100% more quality pre-owned vehicles than ever before. We want customers that appreciate our friendly, outgoing team and our award-winning service because at St. Louis Acura, we are better than ever for you.
My name is Jeremy Seabury. I am one of the owners of Pawford K9.
Marcus Galmore, co-owner of Pawford K9.
What makes us different from other dog companies is there is no breed left behind. We stand by that 120%. We specialize in aggressive behavior modification. We don't turn away. We bring them in for a free evaluation to see if we can help the dog.
Here at Pawford K9, we focus on the owners. Educating the owners.
How do I get this dog to give me the behaviors that I'm asking for without the treats? So that's when me and Marcus come in. We train the dog so when you take the dog home, you don't need the treats. The dog is doing it because you're asking it to.
After each training package, we go through a series of lessons. We keep going until the owner gets it.
We make sure that they go over the beatings with their dog and that dog is listening before they leave here, but also we follow up when they get home. Is your pup listening to you here? If it's not, we one phone call away, we'll make a trip. We got the Pawford Mobile where we go out to their homes and make sure their dog is okay.
Wrapping up lunch with Claibs and Joe here on claibsonline.com. We are live from Mungenast, Alton Toyota.
Burkhardt, Mungenast.
I'm sorry, yes.
Alton
Come
Toyota.
see Jamie out here. Come see Jamie, come see Erica, see what they have. Check them out online too, altontoyota.com, before you make your way out here. See what they have on the lot, or see what they have on the other Mungenast lots, and have them bring it out here to Alton,
They can
Illinois
get
for
you
you.
anything
Yeah.
you're looking for, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So come on out here, make plans during your holiday break these next couple of weeks. Claibs, some golf news, as it was announced earlier today. The Masters have announced that any golfer who qualified for the Masters tournament based on its previous criteria will be invited to play in 2023. That includes 16 players who are currently signed on with the Live Golf Tour.
So here's the trick to that: who have qualified in the past and who played in the tournament in the past. They're okay. Well, see, here's what the Masters is saying: we want the best players to play. I don't think they want to run the risk of allowing guys who are fringe golfers for the tour to be able to qualify because they were in a watered down event.
Yeah.
So I like it. I just want to see the best players play. I don't care where they play in the world. The Live thing, I think, has opened up some eyes. And just like when it first started, I said the NBA had the ABA, the NFL had the AFL, the NHL had the WHA. At one point, there was a Mexican league that was going to take on Major League Baseball. And if they would have got them at Musial sign, because they had some other guys that were pretty good players that were ready to go, but Musial wouldn't sign. And therefore that league went away. So merging in new leagues come about all the time. The thing is, what it's done is put the PGA on notice about improving their situation more, whether it's sponsorship money, maybe some rule alters somewhere along the way. But I think at some point they all need to get in the room. And apparently everybody feels like if Greg Norman's out of the loop, then maybe they can get something done that benefits everyone. So do you give Greg Norman a big payday to go away in order to save golf? I don't know.
So right now the six past Masters champions are part of the group.
Who are they?
Bubba Watson, Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Sergio Garcia, Patrick Reed, and Charles Schwartzel.
So Schwartzel, Johnson went healthy, and who's the other one?
Garcia, Sergio, Patrick Reed.
It's past him, Bob. Patrick Reed, when healthy, could be interesting. I don't think Sergio Garcia is relevant anymore. Schwartzel is a pretty good player. Dustin Johnson, when healthy, can still go out and golf his ball. Those other guys, come on, you're not gonna win anyway. So
Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka.
Well, he's healthy.
Yeah. They're Cameron Smith, who number 3 ranked player in the world. Just some other names on there.
Well, there's some guys that can win.
Yeah.
Those other guys you just mentioned, they can win.
Louis Oosthuizen on there too. He usually plays well at the Masters. So you got a lot of good names on that.
This will be a good field this year.
Yeah.
With the emerging players we've seen that have helped fill the void of the Live players, we've seen some young names that have started to play with more consistency. So this could be as good of a Masters as we've had in a while.
And Claibs, we're going to wrap up today. Just a little bit of Cardinal stuff. First of all, Matt Carpenter signs a deal with the San Diego Padres, 1-year deal, major league deal, with an option. Yeah. So I read that as team taking a chance on him with the shift being gone, thinking he can get back to what he did with the Yankees last year. I mean, you saw the power he had with the Yankees for that for the brief stint before he got hurt last year. Without the shift, they need a left-handed bat in that lineup. They're losing Josh Bell. They lose Will Myers. So
and you know what? They need a little maturity in that clubhouse. You know, because we don't know what Tatis is going to be, what new adventure he's going to be involved in. And I'm telling you, man, the things I'm hearing about his situation since he's been suspended doesn't give me a lot of hope. So it's a good move for Matt. And I think Matt Adams also signed with somebody.
He signed with the Nationals, minor league deal
Right.
with the Nationals.
Yeah,
but,
so there are going to be some left-handed bats that are going to find a home somewhere. Cardinals need to look for one themselves.
So that's what I was going to say. Give me something that the Cardinals are going to do, because with Rodon signing, with all these other starters signing elsewhere, the read I get is the Cardinals have a starting pitcher in mind with another team right now that they are going to make a move for.
Well, I wish they were in on the Liam Hendricks sweepstakes, the reliever from Chicago, because they need another guy that's a qualified closer to go along with Ryan Helsley. I don't see anybody else on the current roster with experience that can do that. The left-handed bat, well, you know what? They're going to give Gorman a chance. Maybe Corey Dickerson comes back. I don't know. I mean, but I think you're looking for power.
Yeah.
There just aren't that many guys out there that you want to just say, well, he's a free agent, let's get him. You might have to make a deal. But I think you're going to give Gorman all the chances you can to make sure he has a crack at hitting in the order.
Burleson too?
Power. Yeah, I don't think we saw enough of Burleson to know what he is.
Right.
Because he didn't show me much.
Right.
But he was there for a limited period of time. So maybe a full spring training with the team, he'll compete, because I don't know if there's much more he can do in the minors considering how well he swung the bat last year.
Yeah. But as far as starting pitchers go, I mean, what teams do you look at? Do you look at contenders? Do you look at teams that because you have a plethora of outfielders
who have a guy that's maybe on the last year of a deal that's about to go to free agency, or maybe a guy who's a current guy who you're looking for prospects. There's got to be somebody out there because he's not a free agent.
Yeah.
The guy that can help you is not a free agent right now.
No, those are all off the table. Yeah. So
I didn't think there was a real legitimate ace in any of those guys. I mean, Verlander obviously, but
not Rodon.
I think Rodon's a good number 2 guy.
Okay.
Yeah. But but the other thing is this. We got all these guys that are unsigned. Are you going to make a run at signing somebody doing spring training? They seem like they've done that in the past. So there's a lot of work still to be done. I think the Cardinals will shut it down for a little bit through the holidays, but I expect them to be quite active before this thing is over, before we get to spring training.
As we sit here, are you happy with how their offseason has gone?
Yes. Obviously, you addressed the catching.
They didn't overpay on any other free agents?
They didn't. They're going to give some guys some looks. And there's some guys like Verhagen they want to get another look at. He was pitching hurt all last year. And there's some other guys they want to give a closer look to. So there's time, and, what you look like in spring training is not what you're going to look like in September. So you have time to put this together, but don't take anything for granted.
All right, that's going to wrap it up.
You might win the division by 8 games over the Cubs this year instead of.
Yeah, that's going to wrap it up for us out here at Mungenast Burkhart. Alton Toyota here in Alton, Illinois, 850 Homer Adams Parkway, or online at altontoyota.com. Also powered by the folks at Ameren, Illinois. Want to thank all of you for watching, for listening today. Have a very Merry Christmas this next week, and Happy Holidays as well. I'll be doing talking with Earl Austin Jr. on Thursday. We're gonna preview some of the holiday basketball tournaments going on in the area. So look for that as part of Weekend Joe coming up this weekend. That'll do it for us. For Mike Claiborne, I'm Joe Roderick. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.
There's always been a bright side to living in downstate Illinois. Ameren, Illinois is making it even brighter with a little help from the sun. Right now, we're building a next-generation solar facility to bring you cleaner energy for generations to come. It's good for the environment, your neighborhood, and everyone living in downstate Illinois. That's brighter thinking. That's energy at work. Learn how you can participate in solar programs at amerenillinois.com/renewables.